Okay, we should be live. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining. I know it's early for you, it's late for me. Yeah, the time change has been a little tricky for me to adjust because it's a whole different way of working, but I'm getting it down. And then of course I'm headed back to California next week, and then I gotta rewind and do it all over. But anyway, for anyone listening, I'm here with Amber, and she is the founder of Noori, which is a beautiful skincare line for teens. There's been a lot of talk about skincare for teens, and so we're going to get into it. So I'm excited. So welcome, Amber.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so she has a very interesting story, I think, about how she started her brand. I don't want to give too much of it away, but why don't you share with us what got you into this? Well, both skincare and beauty, and then also specific for teens.
I'm actually my background. I'm a pharmacist of 20 years, and I had done compounding formulations for a large part of it. And so that's kind of how my background kind of helped me to where I am. I left the pharmacy world about 3 years ago. I was kind of going through a midlife, kind of like I want to try something new. I was kind of just needed a break. I was taking care of my mom before she passed. So I just needed some time. And then I wanted to find, we had moved from East Bay to the peninsula, and I wanted to find a sense of community. So I started this wine tea night at my house monthly, where all the moms in the neighborhood, I went and dropped off invitations in their mailboxes, and the moms came to my house, and I introduced myself, and it became a monthly thing where every month at the end of the month, all the moms would come. Sometimes we'd have like 20, sometimes we'd have 10, sometimes only a couple would show up. And during those sessions, they knew I knew how to read ingredients, and we talk about skincare. Sometimes they would bring their products, I would give recommendations. And I found out from them that their daughters were overusing a lot of products from Sephora, and it was this big problem going on nationally. So I actually have only two boys. At that time, both my boys were in high school, so they were teens. Now one is in college. And I didn't know that this problem really even existed, just because my boys were not Sephora kids.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, this is all new information to me. So then I started doing research. New York Times was the first article I read in February of 2024, where I realized how big this problem was. It was more the ages of 8 to 12. I think that was more alarming, but it went from tweens to teens, and apparently they were using all the retinols and the alpha
Yeah.
hydroxys on their skin, and breaking their skin barrier. So what I decided to do was, and the group of moms were like, "You can do something for this. You can help because you know how to formulate." So I actually then applied to Sephora down the street. I was at the Stanford Mall one. I applied as a beauty advisor. I worked there for 6 months on the floor, learned so much.
Yeah.
Went in there not knowing what it would give me, to be honest. I went in there just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to learn. I love talking about skincare. I just kind of want to just take everything in. And I was amazed at how much more the age group has shifted for sure. You
Mm.
don't see as many adults in Sephora. You see a lot of the young kids between the ages of, I would say, youngest 8, because I did have an 8-year-old who asked me to contour her and find her skincare, which was baffling for me. And
And
then,
by the way, not to interrupt, but where are the parents when she's asking you this?
so this was the tricky part for me because her mom was with her.
Ah,
So I was like, oh, I'm surprised that that was okay. But at the same time, what I learned there, I feel like before I went in, I was like, why would moms allow this? This is awful. And then I realized when I was there, the power of social media. And
mm,
these kids see these things on TikTok and YouTube shorts and Instagram, and they hear it from their friends and they pressure their parents and they come in there and then you can see the moms are uncomfortable. So it's not like they're happily there. Most moms are kind of, I've noticed they're like kind of like in a dilemma,
mm,
within themselves. But I learned that I learned a sense of compassion. I had compassion for
mm,
the children because I was like, you know what? They just want to feel pretty like everybody else. And they're seeing all these girls on social media looking pretty with all these products, and
mm.
they want to be just like them. And it's the age, right, of peer pressure. And the pressures, and generally, I feel like girls have so much more pressure and just different pressures than boys.
Yeah,
And so I actually developed that compassion, which I loved and gained by working there. So I was like, okay, I want to help. I can't fight the social media aspect because it's
yeah,
so powerful. So why not join it in a way where I make something just for them? So the moms are comfortable buying for them. They're like, okay, her background gives credibility. She knows what she's talking about. And the girls, I have to make it cute and pretty and pretty packaging, and so they're excited to use it. And I also got to see what girls gravitated towards, right? The glow recipes and the drunk elephants and the bright colors and the pastel pinks. So that was a lot of fun for me. I got to learn at Sephora what clean meant, quote unquote, because clean is such a broad word. And people just pick up products and girls just pick up products like, oh, it's a clean product. But they have no idea what that means because Sephora clean ingredients, it's very broad. A lot can pass for clean. And
yeah.
like silicones can be clean, and fragrances under like a certain percent, I think it's like 1%, can be considered clean. So I was like, okay, a lot of these like people just don't know, and I'm like, you know what, when I left, I'm like, I'm going to make a product where I'm going to be completely transparent of what my clean is and what my product's clean means. So moms know exactly what's in there and why I put it in there. And for the girls, I feel like I'm going to make a packaging. I did a bunch of focus groups in Palo Alto with all the girls in the area. I probably had about 150 total like Google forms sent out, focus groups. I had arranged multiple, asked them what they wanted, why they went there, if they would use, if I made something, would they use it if it looked kind of like they wanted the drunk elephant packaging, the
Yeah.
airless pump. And it just got girls excited. And to some level, I was like, oh my gosh, without even realizing it, I was empowering them. I was making them feel seen. I was making them feel heard. They were like, oh, someone really cares about our skin and
Mm.
wants to make something just for us. And that to me was, I think, the most fulfilling part, because I think just being the mom of teens, and just having that nurturing side of me, I was like, oh, I get to do something to make them feel really good about themselves and make it where they are like showing their friends, oh, look at this, I'm using this, look at the packaging. And that got me really excited. So that's kind of how the entire journey started. And then I left Sephora last year, before Noori came out. I told them, I was very honest with them. I go, I'm going to make something for teens and tweens. I am doing a startup. And they told me kind of like, okay, these are steps on, how I can get into Sephora one day, the incubator program, which is also the accelerator program, and to apply and to see. And it's a brand new brand. So I'm going to try all of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the most important thing to me is brand awareness. I this year I focused on just getting my brand out there. Now, because of working with you, I am at the Atlas store in Santa Clara Mall, and I am at Petal and Hive in Saratoga Springs, and it's all about just getting my name out there, my brand
Yeah.
out there, and slowly everything else will happen. I do believe, um, maybe it's because I believe in manifestation. I
Mhm.
do believe I will make it. I am extremely, extremely hardworking, and I have this huge sense of compassion, and I love being transparent. Even when I have people try my cream, I go try it, go around with it, walk around with it, use it for a couple of days, and then come back if you want to buy it. I want people to love it,
Yeah.
and give me honest feedback. That is the most important to me, which is kind of a dilemma for me too. I feel ethically to some level, because sometimes, people just try it once and they give a review, and I'm like, well, try it for like a week or try it for a month, and then give me another review, because I want that honest feedback. That means a lot to me. I think that is the pharmacist side, chemist side of me,
Yeah.
that really wants it to be a great product.
Oh my God, I love that. So many things there to unpack, but maybe we'll start with some of the last things you said about reviews, because I will just make a little bit of a plea for anyone listening. For us small businesses, reviews are gold. And, sometimes my friends will say, oh, how can I help or this and that. And you don't want to force people to buy your products, you know what I mean? But a review, a like, a share, it doesn't cost anything. And so, that is just a really good thing for people to keep in mind when they're thinking about the brands they love and support and small businesses, because for us, that literally makes my day, probably does for you too.
Yes.
When you get a good review, literally, I'm
Yes.
like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a great day today. Cause yeah.
Yes.
So it really matters. But let's rewind a little bit. So once you had this idea that, oh my God, there's this hole that is not being filled, and these teens and tweens and younger are going and just doing it themselves with products that are not appropriate for them. What was the process to actually start making the product? Did you hire a chemist? Did you go to a manufacturer? Did you try to do it yourself? How did that work?
So I first tried it myself just
Okay.
because I I used to make my own kind of skincare for myself. So I was like, I'm going to try it myself first and just play around with ingredients. I have a sterile space in my home, just started mixing things in, formulating stuff. And then as I was working, the hardest part from working from home is getting all the ingredients.
Mm.
It's hard getting, like, a lot of places will not give you ingredients if you are like a home lab.
Yeah.
So I started working then with a cosmetic lab who does just cosmetics. It's in Minnesota. I work with a specific chemist that I know. I consider him my friend. And I started working with him. It's my formulation. I own the formulation, but I have to be honest, he does help me make it even better.
Oh,
I
okay.
tell him what I want. It's like two brains working instead of one. I tell him what I want. I tell him what ingredients I'm thinking of. I'm thinking like and this will be, I'm sure, another question now, and soon, but it's about a future product. Because I just spoke to him again yesterday. But I just get his feedback. I love talking to him because he tells me anything new that's coming up, in the ingredient world. So I also learn from him. But I worked with him. We did samples after samples after samples because initially, I girls wanted fragrance.
Ah,
And that was probably the trickiest part of my formulation because if I'm making a clean, non irritable product, a non irritating product that I want to make for sensitive skin, for acne prone skin, for eczema skin, I have to make sure I use the most gentle ingredients.
mm,
And the toughest was the scent part because girls wanted, like, a fruity scent or a floral scent. And then, so I tried it with essential oils. I first started off with, like, it was like, I think, a gardenia. Started off with that in essential oil. Didn't like it. I thought it was way too strong. Then I did a floral, and then I'm like, oh my God, this smells like vitamin C to me. And
mm.
then, so I started mixing floral and fruity, and I had a bunch of girls come to my home, and I had samples all over the counters, and I'd be like, just smell everything, and I had it in the cream, and they would tell me their input. And after 3 months of just going back and forth, I went fragrance free. I'll never forget, my boys were like, Mom, after all of that, you went fragrance free. And I'm like,
Right.
I got to go with my gut. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's the most safe. It'll be great for acne skin. It'll be great for sensitive skin. And my 15-year-old does have acne prone skin. So that I had to think about. I chose three ingredients in my first product that balance oil production.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, my son's going to use it. And I'm going to make sure he uses it. So I
Yeah.
go, what would I want his skin to have? So that's when I decided on the niacinamide because it balances oil production. It's also vitamin B3. It's very safe. It also strengthens the barrier.
Mm.
Um, you know, plant-based glycerin. It also balances oil production. So I was like, and it's an old school drug, which is great. And then I use olive-derived jojoba seed oil, which also balances oil production. So I picked ingredients that I'm like, okay, it's great for acne prone skin now because those three ingredients will help lessen the oil. And it's great for eczema skin because eczema skin is so dry. So it kind of balances out like their skin and the pH of it. So actually, both eczema and acne prone skin benefit from it. And then I thought about sensitive skin. I'm like, what can I put in there that helps with irritation and redness? So I put in olive derived squalane. And squalane is just such an amazing ingredient because it gives the softness to it. I didn't put silicones in there because I believe silicones can clog pores.
Mm.
I know it is in many moisturizers if people look at their ingredients. It is allowed in clean ingredients as well. I've never been a fan, just because I had very acne prone skin when I was young, and I had a ton of acne, and I had the big ones on my face.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it silicone free. So I used the olive derived squalane, which gives it that silky feel, also absorbs really well into the skin. And then at the same time, it helps with irritation and redness. So I actually not only have found out that young people buy it, I get a lot of older people buying
Oh,
it and
interesting. Yeah.
moms buying it because they have sensitive skin or they have
Yeah.
eczema skin. I was at a market at Fort Mason on Friday, which I regretted being there because there was no teens or tweens. There was no moms. It was all the age group between, it was 20s and 30s. And then
Oh,
there was older people like
okay.
in their 50s and and I was like, oh my gosh, there's like, or 50 plus, probably like 60s. So I was like, okay, I'm like, how am I going to sell this? And I sold a ton that day just
Oh,
because
good.
they would walk by, because it's like I have a neon sign, and then I'm like, just try it, and they would put it on their hand, and by the end of the market they'd come back around and they'd be like, I can't stop feeling my hand. And I found out, if they had sensitive skin or eczema. So I actually sold a lot to non-teens that day and non-moms,
Very
which was hilarious.
interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have learned my audience is like kind of almost broad now, even though I still want it to be, I made it specially for the teens and tweens. I want them to know I made it for them. It's just that a lot of moms love it too now for their own
Yeah.
skin.
I love that. And it's very interesting because people think of aging as the torture test for skincare products. But
Yeah.
if you really think of teenage skin and how bad your skin was and my skin, oh, I had terrible breakouts also. That's more of a torture test for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about your lifetime, I'm 58, right? And my
You look great, by the
Thank
way.
you.
52.
But my teenage skin was the worst skin I've ever had for sure.
Yeah.
And yes, I've had things now that I'm older that I don't love, and you start to see the little, maybe some little fine lines here or some little, but like nothing compares that to the teenage years. So I think the idea of a torture test, you're using teenage skin is almost like a torture test. And if it works for their skin, it's going to work for a lot of other people too. So that's kind of
Yeah.
a cool idea. Interesting. And okay, your packaging though, can you show it?
Yeah. So this is the jar. I'm going to show it. And I
Because
hate
it
how,
actually does look to me like a more sophisticated, a lot of teen products are like neon and very poppy colors and
yes,
imagery. And
yes.
I think this is a more aspirational type of product,
I'm going
which
to
is
see
great.
if I can get myself in a position where I can actually, I don't, because my thing, let me see if
Oh,
I
yeah.
can do this somehow. Okay. So this is my product.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Beautiful.
and the color was chosen by the young girls, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to say
so
it's not gender neutral. It's
no,
definitely much more of a, yeah.
yes, it was chosen by the girls. Let me see if I can, okay. And it's like a light pink. So I've gone with the pastels. There was and then this is the logo. I'm kind of funny. I'm trying to see how I can, there we go.
There we go.
There's the logo. A Stanford student designed my logo. You could see it more clear on the box.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool.
Yes, it's on the
Yeah.
box, and then the front of the box is like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then I have the ingredients, I have everything. I'm very, very transparent on my box on exactly what's in there, what it does, all the ingredients. And then it is a airless pump. So I
Yeah.
took it off. It's the airless
That's great.
pump,
So it's not going to get
and then
bacteria or,
you just take a little out, and I'm so awful right now trying to get into the
yeah.
camera,
Oh,
and
okay.
that way it doesn't oxidize and it stays sterile. So
Love that.
when I was making it, um, I thought about the neon colors because I was like, oh, I thought
Yeah.
they would want something brighter. And for whatever reason, because I had shades for the girls to look at, like in my focus groups, I showed them shades. Even the name Noori actually was determined by all the girls.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, everything I did as far as the branding, the packaging, was all determined by the girls. I did polls. I showed everyone the products. I gave different colors, lavenders, brighter colors. The original one was actually a hotter pink,
Mm,
and the girls didn't like it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna change it. It was hotter pink, and instead of the black Nuri, it was in a gray. I probably still
okay.
have an original one. I mean, I should see if I can go find that real quick.
Yay.
Yeah, and the girls didn't like it. So then, therefore, I did this one, then they just loved it. And the funny thing is, now I'm on my second product, and I was like, oh, I wonder if girls will want me to do like a different pastel.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mixed. I get a lot of girls are like, stay with the pinks. They go, a lot of brands just start doing all these other colors or stay with the pastels or because they just love the pink color. It's such a neutral pink. A lot of boys use the product too. So I feel like it's a pink that's very approachable for boys as well. So it's worked out great for me.
Oh,
And the packaging, if anything, I feel like it does sell. The funny thing is, so my product is called Girl and a Goat Moisturizer.
mm,
Reason being, there's goat milk,
yeah.
milk lipids and ceramides. I That was my first ingredient. That is what protects the barrier. And with all the barriers breaking due to the harsh products, the most important goal for me is to protect the barrier. If we protect the skin barrier, we just age better. We won't get as many breakouts. We won't
Mm,
get as many wrinkles in life. We will just protect it. I turned 51 now this December. And I always tell people that you need to protect the barrier. Otherwise, everything will just start aging. And when girls so young, they think they're using these products as prophylaxis because that's how kind of when I did all my research articles in their mind, they're doing prophylaxis. They're
yeah.
preventing all of this. But they don't realize that the more they're using, the more they're stripping their barrier, and the more they're going to actually age quicker. And, by your 30s, you'll start getting wrinkles. What's amazing to me, I did a pitch the other day, which wasn't planned. I was at a networking event. One of the guys there was like, you have such a great story. Why don't you go on stage? He knew my story and talk about it. And there was maybe about, I don't know, 50, 60 people in the room.
Okay.
So I went up on stage and I was not prepared, had no preparation. All I had was my story. And I don't even think I had my product with me that day. And I went up there and I talked about it. And I talked about my journey. And this one mom just felt because all you could just see like everyone started like sitting more forward in
Yeah.
their chair listening because a lot of these moms were like, oh my gosh, like we have this problem in our house. And this one mom felt so compelled to stand up in the middle of it, and she just stood up and she goes, I'm sorry, I just need to cut you off because I know my daughter will hate me for doing this, but I want to show the before and after of my 10-year-old. So before, she was just like a nice, pretty
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
And then after using all these products that she bought and stripped her barrier, and then
Mm,
how it was just all like blotched and rashes. And she's like, this is what she looks like now. And she's like, we don't know what to do with it. We've taken her to the dermatologist's office. And she goes, I just want you to know how happy I am that someone is doing something for this.
yeah.
So I feel like it is like really powerful, not just for the girls, but for the moms,
Yeah.
because if I had daughters using 10 products on their skin and I didn't know what to do, and even me knowing it's bad for them, but the social media is so powerful and they're teens, right? Like they don't listen to everything we
Yeah,
say.
no, forget it. They're not going to listen.
No, they don't listen. They fight everything. Even if you agree with them, they'll fight it.
Yeah,
So it's like, this gives everyone a sense of this calmness,
I
you
love
know?
it.
Yeah.
So, we got to kind of wrap it up, but let's talk about where people can find you. Your website, I think is it Glow with Nori?
Yes, it's glow with Noori because Noori means radiance light. So
Oh,
it
love
means
that.
to glow. So glowwithnoori.com, and it's spelled like glow with Noori, just all together. My Instagram is glow.with.noori. So that's my
Yep.
Instagram and my TikTok. I'm also on Amazon Prime now, so I'm a Prime seller as
Great.
well. So on Shopify, even if they check out, they can do Prime. And then I'm at the two stores at the
Yay.
Atlas at Westfield Valley Fair and at Petal and Hive in Saratoga Springs. And I'm working on, just for future, I'm working on the cleanser now after so many
Yay.
requests.
Exciting.
And I hope to have that out in the near future. So
Oh,
it is now
fantastic.
being tested. We had like a little Instagrammable party at one of the girls' homes, and she got all her friends together from Castellea. It's this all girls school, and there was about 20, 25 girls, and they got to test the first sample of the cleanser and give their honest feedback, which I will be posting on social media just because I just want to show my journey
Yeah,
and get feedback. I think showing people your journey and letting them be a part of it is the most powerful.
I love that. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing. It's so fascinating
Oh,
and
thank
love the
you.
product, and I can't wait for the cleanser. And I'll put all the information in the notes when we post it so people can have it. And hopefully this will inspire other people to go out and try it and do something else good for the world.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Thank
And I
you.
love that I'm talking to you from Italy. I'm like,
Yeah,
my
I know, right?
favorite words in Italy is my favorite word in Italy is allora. I'm like,
I
allora.
know.
Yes, it's
I
my
know.
favorite.
Me too. It is. It's a great word. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, we will talk soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.